more sustainable affair, people get an opportunity to go deeper into it. Having said this, I would like to invoke the divine. We always begin many programs with a prayer. Asato ma gamya, tamso ma jyotirgamya, mrityur ma amrutgamya, om shanti shanti shanti. What is the meaning of this prayer? Can somebody tell the first word? Asto ma satogamya. So from untruth to truth. Tamso ma jyotirgamya, from darkness to light. Mrityur ma amrutgamya. What does these three lines connote? What is the untruth we are talking about? What is the darkness we are talking about? What is that mortality we are talking about? What is it? What ignorance? About the world. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. What else? Physical world. Worldly pleasures. Ego. Right. So this is actually connoting to the ignorance which we have about us, the untruth which we are experiencing about ourselves, the darkness which we are in, the mortal world which we are going through. And this prayer is invoking God to take us from this untruth about ourselves to the real truth, from the darkness which we are experiencing to the light within, and from the mortality which we are experiencing and going through to the immortal being which we are actually. And that is the meaning of this prayer. We are all experiencing divinity all around us. You look at a plant. Let's say we've come to this beautiful environment. It is full of so many trees. Most of these trees have come through a seedling. A neem seedling, or a vyapa which we call in Telugu, that seedling has that immense knowledge inside it that when it grows, it becomes neem tree. It doesn't become a eucalyptus tree. Eucalyptus seedling has that power inside, has that knowledge inside. Then when it is awakened, it actually becomes a eucalyptus tree. A mango seedling, if you plant a mango seedling, that mango seedling also has that immense amount of knowledge inside that it becomes a mango tree. Why a mango tree does not become a banana tree? Why a banana seedling does not become a guava tree? Have you ever asked this question? You look at the development of a human being itself. Let's say a few moments after the conception to when the baby is born. A few cells which divide to become, let's say, 4 cells become 8 cells, 8 cells become 16 cells, 16 become 32. It's an exponential growth when we are in an embryo. One of those cells chooses to become our brain. One of those cells chooses to become our bones. And some of us maybe going through some medical issue or our relatives must be going through. You see the development of medical science. Till today, we have not been able to create any of those organs artificially, which have been created from a single cell. It becomes the most complicated machine. Machine, I'm saying, because if you treat that organ as a physical entity, that becomes the most complicated machine which we ever know of. And with all the development of our science, the knowledge, we have not been able to replicate it. You think it happens automatically? Does anybody believe that this happens just automatically? Does it?
No, no.
So there must be something within us which does all that. And that source which we have, if we connect to that source within us, we use the word, the prayer was using the word Paramatma. That Paramatma's, at least a small portion of that Paramatma is sitting in each one of us as an Atma. And that is the non-physical entity which Professor Vijay Rao was talking about. And once we connect to it, you don't need to learn values through a classroom. The values will actually come from inside. And that is what I want to request each one of you, that having chosen to come here, try to go deeper into it. We had a very famous Maharishi in our neighboring state, now no more the direct neighbor, but it was a direct neighbor of us till a few years back, Tamil Nadu, Ramana Maharishi. His whole life, whosoever went to meet him, he asked them to ask us only one single question. He says, you ask yourself, who am I? Just keep asking yourself, who am I? And that single question will actually be a doorway to the divine. And the divine which is sitting in each one of us. And the prayer which I was just talking about actually means that. From that untruth which we think of ourselves to the truth which we actually are. From that darkness which we are in, because we are blinded, we are not able to see it. If I ask you, can you see it? We can't see it. We can't see it. Yeah, we can. So, but many of us cannot even perceive. So, from that darkness to light, and from that mortal being which our body is, to the immortality which we actually are. And this is the real meaning of the prayer. But it's just not for the sake of it. I personally feel that each one of us must try to look within and go deeper within and try to connect with that source. And the fact that each one of you has come here today, I'm sure that will give that motivation to actually look at those deeper dimensions of life in at least some way. And then once that happens, then you actually become also a source of that light around, the way the sisters and the brother who is sitting on this stage are, and also the eminent educationists who are sitting on us, they are. Then you become that source of light, and whosoever comes and connect with you will also get that touch of divinity. And I think that is the only sustainable way of creating value-based atmosphere, whether it is in our educational institutions or in our society. Because anything else will only be a theoretical knowledge, the way Professor Professor Krishnadeva Rao was telling about, a teacher teaching a student not to smoke, but then asking a student to buy a cigarette packet. Why? Because he's teaching theory. And a theory need not be practiced. But something which is being practiced, you will never teach something different to the other person, and you will never be doing something different from what you are actually practicing. And with these few words, I once again thank the entire Brahmakumari's organization and each one connected with organizing this program for